อ Good evening and welcome to the semi-finals of the DYS League. Tonight we have a rivalry that has spanned the tournament. We've got fan favourites Jichael's Academy going up against Dystopia's very own Budget Approved. Now, Budget Approved are the higher seed going into this game, but Jichael's Academy won their last head-to-head. So it is up in the air of who can take this one. The winner of it goes to Grand Finals. The loser of this game will be going to the lower bracket to face EMC Chimera or Bliss Marauders, depending on who wins tomorrow night. Join us on stream for that one. But tonight, I am joined here with Jay. How's it going?
It's going good, DB. I'm very excited for the game we have tonight.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I can't wait. But before we get into it, there is something I do need to address. First of all, we are sorry. For Sunday, it was not what Dystopia wants to put out. It's not what we want our brand to be. So I can only apologise for what happened there. There's a lot of issues. I won't get into all the technicalities of it, but there was a lot of issues that led to that situation. But our streamer staff have been working tirelessly all week to make sure that tonight's stream will go a lot smoother and will be what we're used to, what we're used to seeing from Dystopia. Although, what I also want to say is a big thank you. Even though there was a lot of issues, there was still a lot of people in chat. You guys all still joined us for the full length that we were on stream. And even when I made the decision to take us offline, there was a lot of messages saying, oh, we don't mind about the issues. We just want to watch it play out. So I disagreed. But thank you very much for that. But anyway, tonight, we've got quite a big game on our hands. Like I said, Budget Approved going up against Jichael's Academy. You were here last time we saw them play. What are you expecting a bit? What are you expecting from tonight?
I don't know, DB. That is the honest answer, and that I think is what makes it an exciting Overwatch game. I'm not entirely sure. We saw a really close series. I believe it was 3-1 last time. It was also the end of the stream 3-0 streak, but it was also a massive upset. And we had an interview with, I can't remember who, but someone on Jichael's Academy, and they were talking about how the team, had gotten to started slowly, but they'd slowly gotten better and better, and they'd been working together, and that they were a lot more confident. And I mean, they're here, they've gotten all the way to the playoffs. That was, in question when they were in that game, and now they're here. So I don't know. Dystopia, Budget Approved, they're looking strong. No one can deny it. There was maybe it was just a blip when they lost to Jichael's Academy, but I think there's got to be something resting in their mind saying, maybe it wasn't a blip. Maybe they have our number. So I think that the first map is going to be a big tell of who's kind of got the confidence going in.
You say the first one will be a big tell. Last time we saw these teams head-to-head, Budget Approved did very well on the first map, to the point it almost had me worried the 3-0 streak was not going to end. And then it was Junkertown where Jichael's were able to start their sort of hold in the game, like we talked about at the time. Ichthy changing on to the Kiriko on that third point, really changing the momentum of Jichael's, and it seemed from there it only went up. They looked the stronger team for the rest of the series. Now that's not to say it wasn't close for the other three maps, but Jichael's did seem to have their number. So yeah, I can see there's gonna be some emotions going into this, and since it's not a full knockout game, we're doing a double elimination. Apologies. There is a chance we could see this for a third time as well, depending on who goes. How a lower bracket run goes. I'm thinking San Francisco Shock's perfect lower bracket. So there is a lot. There is a lot of options.
Yeah, there is. I think part of what makes these teams so interesting is, what makes every team is the players. And both teams here have really strong players. They have really strong dynamics. A lot of these players have been playing a long time together. And, that's something that we often can't really comment on as strongly as we'd like to, because we don't know all the players equally. But what I can say is I know that a lot of these players have been playing together a long time. And what is great to see is I know that there's quite a lot of fans for both of these teams. If you look into the stream chat, I'm sure you can already see a flurry of messages talking about Jichael's Academy, and that's great. As much as it's.
I think Keo really stoked the flames of that.
He did.
say doing the full copy pasta at the end of last time I streamed with him anyway on stream. I've already said in chat, look, you're not gonna get me reading that one out. Maybe if there was a dystopia one, maybe if there was a budget approved one, maybe I'd be swayed. I'm not a biased caster or anything.
Bit of bias there. Listen, you can come to me for your unbiased commentary, because I will say I truly just want to see some good Overwatch. I don't know the players as well as you do, DB, which kind of means that you can talk more about their play styles and, you know, who they like to lean on, but it means that I can just look at it completely objectively. But I can say that all these players put on a real performance. There was nobody at the end of last game that we were like, this person really let the side down. And there were wobbles for both teams. Obviously, budget approved wobbled enough to lose the game, but I don't think there was any like one person that you could put the weight on. I think it was more of just outplaying the other team, which is the kind of Overwatch you want to watch. You want to watch one team outplay the other team, not one team just crumble.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned teams there, so we'll talk through who we're expecting to see just before we jump into the lobby. Budget approved. They have stuck with a pretty solid starting lineup, only making a few changes here and there throughout the tournament. But they will be coming out the doors with Reno, Ronan, Delta, Lampy, and Leaky. So, like I said, a pretty standard lineup for them. They haven't made many substitutions at all throughout the entire tournament. There's been a few changes in the support side of stuff, but there was rumor that we were going to see more of Note. I think last time we commentated, Note was playing the Sojourn. So there was a bit of conversation of, okay, is that going to be something we see here? There was, I heard some talks on whether or not Ronan was going to be here for the game, but Ronan Delta, DPS duo, look, I've played against them.
Classics.
Terrifying.
They are. They're not bad. Not
They're scary. Bad. Yeah.
I will say as well, one thing that we didn't really talk about is, like, last time was the first week that Huyang was unleashed. So there was kind of this uncertainty with comps, and I mean, hero bans, which we'll talk about in a little bit, do add to that uncertainty. But it will be interesting to see whether the teams have kind of found a rhythm more, because there was no comp that, you know, both teams kind of lent. Like, they were kind of trying always to go back to the comfort. They were both trying to go to rush almost a little bit, lean on what they know. But there was kind of this little element where nobody was really sure how it was, because these are the first tournaments these guys probably have played where Wu Yang's a full capable character. So there's been not a lot of pro play as well. There's been bits and bobs here and there, but there's nothing to really lean on and go, this is what the hard meta, this is definitely what we do. So there's kind of like that added uncertainty. So I'll be interested to see whether teams come in with a bit more of a plan this time around, or whether it's still also, up to interpretation.
Yeah. Now, I talked through budget approved, but on the flip side, Jichael's Academy, they're going to be coming out the door with, again, quite a standard lineup from themselves. We have seen them making quite a few substitutions throughout the tournament, but they're starting today with Alpha, Vateful, Miralep, Ichthy, and Dew. I do have to say, apologies to Ichthy for the last stream. I was apparently pronouncing your name completely incorrectly. Although, look, you gave us a pronunciation to work from. Yeah. But yes, like I said, this is the lineup we mainly saw last time. I think we've seen a bit of Mash, I want to say, and Hamburg throughout the tournament. But again, pretty standard from what we were expecting from Jichael's Academy before we jump into this map.
Yeah. I mean, there's kind of part of that is definitely expected, is almost good, because you're playing in these higher, maybe earlier in the tournament you're experimenting a little more, but what we expect is often for a reason, and that's because these guys have like solidified themselves as the core of the team. So it's really really important that they kind of stick to playing with like a solid lineup, because if you keep switching stuff out, we talk a lot about deep rosters, and that does have a strength, but a lot of the time it only has a strength if you are willing to play a real long game, because you need to know the person you're playing with. You need to be able to do things without fully always communicating. You need to be able to dive without telling your support exactly where you're going. And that happens only with experience. So I think the fact we're seeing Jichael's Academy go back to the Classic is a good sign. And it kind of echoes what they were telling us last time, is that they've kind of found a formula now and they're sticking to it.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're a team that spend a lot of time before any scrims or any league games prepping and planning what they're going to do, which honestly surprised me. You know, a team like Jichael's Academy, in their infancy, they haven't been around very long. They were made for this tournament. That's not something you tend to see. Maybe from the experienced teams that have been around for a while. I know Budget Approved were in a game straight before this, so they theoretically will be warmed up, ready to go in. But a lot of sort of maturity I'm seeing from Jichael's Academy now. We will be going into Oasis, the first map. So it's a pretty that is the lobby that I'm seeing there. There we have it, the map pool. So it's the playoffs, so it is loser pick, but pretty standard map. It's a map that's been around for a while now. I've heard there's a little issue with the teams getting bans sorted. You may be wondering, hang on, look, I love listening to these guys talk, but they're going on quite a while. But it is because our teams are having, apparently, they're not deciding on bans very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is, I think, there's kind of an indecisiveness. You know, who do you ban, who do you take? But part of it is also, you got to remember, it is a Thursday night for these guys. There's kind of an air of, there's a laxness, and so I also do think a big part of it will be seeing, can they get rid of that? Can they stop themselves from just kind of leaning back on their laurels, from relying on just kind of the momentum, because I think that's what Budget Approved really have to face. Obviously, everyone knows Oasis. I feel like it's one of the most scrimmed, one of the most played maps, perhaps of all time. So there's an ease of that to just act completely confidently, which can be a strength, but you also don't want to go in without thinking too hard. And, hopefully these teams can think on a hero ban, but also do it kind of sharpishly. And hopefully it will be interesting. I think the hero bans that you often see in first maps are a little null and void often. You don't want to make any sweeping changes. You kind of want to feel people out.
Although with teams like these who know their opponent's roster quite well, I'm thinking Oasis. You see a lot of ball on Oasis, and Reno is known for being a good ball. So is that something you think? Okay, do we want to keep that away from us? We don't want to have to deal with that. Equally, then I wouldn't really look to a Sojourn ban here. I mean, I know both teams have strong Sojourns. Oasis is sort of a,
I feel like it's a wasted ban a little bit. Yeah. Although then the flip side, both teams like Brawl, both teams like Rush. Maybe you look to force people onto, picks they're not a big fan of, in terms of, banning a Lucio, banning a Juno, banning Kiriko, or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's so many options, I feel like, in this the games for today. So who are they going to ban? I really have no clue. I feel like you need to target ban one person, and generally that'll be tanks. That being said,
finally have it.
Yeah, we do have it. Cassidy and Venture. I think both of those make sense. Venture especially. Venture is, Budget Approved has shown that they have that in their back pocket, and you don't want.
Well, it's a character that can absolutely blow up your backline, right?
Yeah.
And if you're looking to play a fast comp, where you're going to be splitting up a little, like even the tiniest bit of splitting up, Venture can then absolutely pounce on your backline. So I can understand where Jichael's Academy are coming from there, looking at Delta, looking at Ronan, and going, okay, we don't even want to go. We don't want to go near that. Let's leave them to it on this control point, because Venture with the tight corridors does do very good here. Cassidy, though, I'm feeling is a bit of a weak ban.
Yeah, it's definitely not the strongest. I think this is one of those where you don't also want to ban yourself. You have to remember, bans are for both teams. and I think they were a little afraid to take anything away from themselves. One thing about Budget Approved is they play a lot of heroes. Part of it was that they were kind of going with something that they knew wouldn't shake anything up too much. Maybe they just think that if anyone, I don't know, Cassidy is a bit annoying, especially with the new perk, and kind of challenge the longer range characters. So maybe it's to do with that. We'll find out either way, DB, because we're heading into the game in just a second, and I am ready for the series of a lifetime. If you are on stream as well, what you should see is a poll has popped up asking you who you think is going to win. So drop your votes. I don't know if it'll be over. It probably will be by the time we're talking about it, but it'll be interesting to see who the people think is going to win today.
Yeah, I mean, it's seeming like the people are very much going in Jichael's academy's favor before we jump into this beautiful sunny oasis. Although I'm expecting some fast gameplay here.
Yeah, I think that I would not be surprised. We just got news. Bit of a technical pause. That is completely typical. The second we get all excited, getting ready to jump in, something happens. It happens though. Xboxes crash, controllers die.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to say quickly. A lot of the technical issues we've had so far this stream have been the teams taking their sweet time to get stuff ready. Yeah. I don't want to point fingers, but before we start getting accused of saying we fixed everything and it not being fixed,
yeah. While I'm doing this, I'm going to put up another poll just for map 1. After seeing the bans, I wonder if people have... I'll also make it so it's not up for just 10 seconds, because it was very short. It was a minute, but a minute flies by when you're doing this. And I'm going to make it so that... We'll see if that works.
You remember, we're in our infancy of having...
I know, this is brilliant stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you can vote now. You can also add an extra vote for some channel points. Hopefully we'll get some stuff to do with channel points up in the future. But it'll be interesting to see. Now people have seen the bans, they probably have a better feeling. I feel like people know these teams. Obviously, we've seen there's quite a few fans of the teams already, sitting by. So it'll be interesting to see who people actually think are going to win, because I don't know, I feel like you've got to pick a team, you've got to stick by them even if you don't think they can do it. But I think everybody who is supporting a team today really believes they can win, and I think we'll see it now as we head into our first game of this series. And I'm not really surprised by these team comps so far, DB.
Yeah, I mean, pretty standard from both sides. We've got the Orissas. The Symmetra will definitely be changing. I'm almost
Tracer.
Yeah, Tracer or Genji, I suppose.
That's true. Could be Genji.
The Wu Yang carry from both. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I know. I'm guessing it must be Reaper from Mirrorlep. Is a big, big difference. That will actually change a lot. That'll be a lot more pressure for Reno, but Reno is deadly. Reno and Alpha are both absolutely goats of the game, so their space taking and their ability to kill on Orisa is completely something that can't be overlooked.
So very different methodologies here from both teams, as we've seen Budget Approved going straight onto the objective. They want to control the space early, whereas Jichael's look to control the high ground, even though they didn't have any long distance damage really. But it is Vayful we're seeing in the back line of Budget Approved, almost getting some picks, taking a lot of damage, but it's the Orissa's. Oh no! Alpha has found Ronan with his spear in the middle of the point, and look, Budget Approved are going to have to sprint away from that one.
Yeah, I was saying you've got to watch out for these tanks. You think they're all tanky, but I mean, just look, they're clearing everything up. Getting a bit of a stagger as well on all these kills. Obviously won't be too long. But, that was a good fight when Budget Approved managed to kind of lever themselves onto the point to get a couple of percent. But Jichael's Academy just played it slow. They took an interesting rotation and they just got a pick. They know they have the skill to do it. So... They can get the picks.
I was about to say it's a symptom of they want to play the quick fight, but it's Budget Approved that are looking to play a quick fight here as Delta takes down Vayful with a perfectly not Vayful, who Ronan there has found Mirrorlep I'm struggling to see what's going on here as Alpha popped his Terror Surge on the middle of the point, taking a lot of damage, has no fortify, and Ronan finds another kill. He's trying to find his opposite number, but Faithful's able to get down to the health back in the middle. The point has been flipped there.
Yeah. I mean, it's so good that Budget Proof managed to get it, and they got out Alpha's ult. Alpha is deadly with those ults. We've seen him win entire fights just with it, clutch up, and managing to get it early means that Reno's going to have a massive advantage. And Ronan's coming up on his ult, Delta, they're all coming up on ult. So this fight, I'm guessing it's going to be really chaotic, DB. We're going to hear a lot of ults. Wu Yang ult starts it off.
Yeah, I mean, and Kiriko taking down Ronan. Although it's going to be the tank battle that is sort of deciding how long this fight will go on, as both Orisa stare dead into each other's eyes. Lampy is able to find Miralep as the Wu Yang ult comes out from Lampy, and Leaky pops his Kitsune rush. Budget Approved are not ready to let this fight go. I thought it was done and done, but they have stormed their way back through point as Alpha takes too much damage to stand strong.
Yeah, I mean, just really, really well played there. They managed to like hold off on a fight that, you know, 80% of the time is completely lost because you lose the space, you get down a pick. But I mean, oh my days, Fateful just absolutely melts Delta, holding on to the pulse bomb off from the other side, but just misses. Is that going to be enough for them to flip the point here, DB?
Yeah, they get the flip there, but Budget Approved on 70%. It's going to be hard. They're going to have to make sure they win every fight from now on. Jichael's Academy, if they want to take this first point here. But the ult economy is looking strong. They've got the Terror Surge. They've got both DPS ult. And Alpha is sprinting. He pops the Terror Surge. He's trying to find anything, and it is Mirror that pops his Death Blossom. He's not able to find anything, though, as Reno catches him with the spear. Overall, they win the fight, so something to be said there. The ults were effective, even though they weren't in the kill feed.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get kill feed, but they still manage. And as ults are kind of lining up a little bit, there's 2 support ults and a pulse bomb for Jichael's Academy, but Delta, you know, they got the overclock. That's going to do some serious damage, especially to the Orisa. Just a really easy target in these scenarios to get your charge and just absolutely stomp on. But it'll be interesting to see whether they manage to break through. They're going to be Reno trying to break it down as Delta pops the ult, but gets taken down by Fateful's pulse bomb.
Yeah, Faithful sticks the pulse bomb as Reno is trying to find anything with his Terror Surge, but it's Faithful again putting himself in the kill feed as Ronan's able to take down Kiriko there, but Alpha finding his opposite number. The Wu Yang ult comes out for Lampy on himself, trying to keep Budget Approved alive, but Faithful and Miralep just unstoppable on that DPS, and they will take the first point here on Oasis.
Yeah, one of the things I will say, DP, is no fight is ever really over. Kiriko, I want to say, one of the team's players being called Kiriko in-game while not playing Kiriko is insane. So hard to keep. Mentally, my brain is freezing every couple of seconds.
Oh, and now Kiriko's duo support has picked Kiriko.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Ugh, ridiculous. Anyway, but I was going to say, every fight, you get a couple of picks, but that doesn't mean it's over. In so many fights, in so many like team comps and everything, that would just be the end of it. But we're seeing a lot of fights where it's getting really close to swapping. We're seeing Reno now swap onto the ball. Just he's known for it. He loves it. I hope he sticks on it. It'll be interesting to see whether he swaps off, but I think he's going to stay on it. He's just incredibly good. It's going to change the entire dynamic here. You can see how quick the rollout is. He's going to be looking for positions and just causing chaos, which should allow Ronan and Delta to really sow some seeds of destruction here.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's already in the back line. He's going straight up the stairs. And look at the amount of damage he's done. Straight pile drive into their front line. He's going to continue this reign of terror as he's looking to swing further into the back line. Although, Ronan's the one to find the first kill onto Miralep as he goes straight round that back and hits the back line of Jichael's Academy while they're trying to deal with Reno. Now, Alpha is able to take down Ronan, but I think positionally, Budget Approved are in a very strong spot to just hold Jichael off the point. And look, Reno again flying into the backline, doing as much damage as he can to just throw Jichael's off.
Yeah, I think Alpha's realized he's got to try and ignore Reno and just got to try and do stuff himself. But Lampy is going to help take down Vate for a support assassination. I mean, there's just so much pressure coming out. Delta's managing to stand almost as a tank with the supports behind him. Ronan helps him take down Alpha. I mean, it's just kind of like a one long staggered fight. Miralep managed to pick up Delta, though, in the midst of all of that. That is crazy, but he is going to drop. Takes himself rather than lets them take him. I mean, Jichael's Academy kind of struggling to get a bit of a foothold here. Reno and Ronan just raining terror, and Delta's managing to pick up the scraps. Yeah, Vateful has just got to find something, and that's going to be really hard. I'd be interested to see whether Merilep doesn't swap. Not a lot of easy targets, but if it's something you're comfortable on, it's something you're going to stay on.
Now we're seeing the perks come out, and as I've said, that the ults are coming out as Reno drops his minefield into the backline, is searching for Kiriko, gets the pick, but he's left his team alone for so long that Jichael's Academy are able to find two, and they've got themselves set up on point. He's trying to spin around here to keep him on the point, and he's got the Wu Yang ult. Reno flying in, he knocks down one, but Vateful is the one who finds Lampy there. Look at this stall, though. I mean, the fight is well and truly won by Jichael, and yet Reno is just standing on point. But Delta finds a headshot onto Chappers as Vateful is able to go into the backline and get the kill. But 76% on a fight that was realistically lost at 50%.
Reno didn't even die. He managed to get out, which, you know, is a good thing because Bull has a lot of HP and that is a lot of ult charge. But Jichael's Academy do have a lot of ults now. They're coming up on 4 ults. They only really use the Kiri ult. So, you know, there is kind of a safety now. They feel like the Orisa comp wants to have a little bit of a grip, and they feel like they've got it. But, you know, Leaky's going to drop the ult, and it's going to be answered by Alphas, but Ronan managing to pick up the Wu Yang.
A lot of ults in one corner there as another pulse bomb's being dropped, and Reno comes flying in to try and keep his team up again. Mirrorlep drops the Death Blossom as Alpha finds Lampy's headshot hitbox, and Jichaels are going to keep themselves in this, although it was ult-wise, I think Leaky popped his Kitsune. Was that it?
Yeah.
Although Budget Approved aren't giving this one up. Yeah, I thought they were going to back out and start again, but Reno is just... he's determined to not die. He's not really stalling the point, though, so it seems like a bit of a useless crusade.
Yeah, he's kind of just giving them a little bit of ult charge. Jichael's Academy were at a significant ult disadvantage, but all of a sudden that's you know, become less significant because of the amount that they're able to charge off Alpha already, you know, up to 70%. But Delta is coming in. Ooh, the Wu Yang ult on the on the Orisa is brutal, but Ronan manages to pick one, Lampy picks another. Just, it's kind of, when the Orisa goes a little too hard, DB, it's the same problem Bull has, but like, you're less of a good character on the dive, that you abandon your team. So, you know, and that's exactly what Ronan wants, and Reno is just going to absolutely slam down. So it's on Delta, Lampy, and Leaky just to live, and they manage to do that there, and they win the fight quite comfortably.
You're almost playing a trade backlines composition where you're trusting that your backline are going to keep themselves alive the whole time. 90% on the point here is Jichael's Academy look to close this map out if they can get in quick enough, but the kill from Ronan onto Vateful there is going to completely slow them down. The Kitsune rushes come out from Chappers trying to open the point up, but Leaky is on a tear up here, finding Alpha as well, and finds Mirrorlep. Delta sweeping up and taking out Kiriko.
Wow.
But I mean, Leaky's the true DPS here.
Yeah, I mean, just, I think that's what we mean when we talk about these players. Everybody is deadly. You can't turn your back on anyone. Obviously, Kiriko does a lot of damage, but a character that you generally kind of ignore a little bit for the damage sake. But you just can't do that in these games, you know? Leaky is going to kill you if you get too complacent. And I mean, everybody played really well there, but I think the Bull comp really shows Budget Approves kind of more preferred style. They prefer to kind of get in there, Reno and Ronan kind of causing chaos, and then Delta being like a pseudo tank, a lot of support into him, and then the supports are kind of just, they're ready for Ronan and Reno, but they're not kind of like chasing after them. That's a lot of things that supports can do which will get them in hairy trouble. They only really go in if something's gone really wrong, and I think that kind of was just too chaotic for Jichael's Academy to really do much against. But man, they tried and they did get close. So we'll have to see whether they're able to on a map that I think is probably a little bit more friendly to the Orisa comp.
Yeah, but then equally, we're seeing Reno use this high ground already, and flying straight into the backline, drops the PD, but he gets speared onto the road. Can he dodge the cars? He is able to, but it was getting close there for a second as Jichael's are able to hold him off. Look at it. This is the joy of the Orisa comp, right? You can all stand together in a corner and just sort of ignore whatever Budget Approved are going to throw to you. Reno looking for the health pack, but look at dodge car again as Delta takes down Kiriko. Like you said, this is what Budget Approved do well here. Reno opens the fight and the rest of his team pick up the scraps and get the kills. So Budget Approved didn't get the initial cap, but they did pick it up very quickly. And Reno getting caught in a corner by Alpha there.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be really big. It'll be interesting to see the team so spread apart. Will Jichael's Academy be able to make the most of it? Chapper's almost dropping to Ronan. He's just, even without his duo, he's managing to do so much committing the pulse bomb as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, look, the Kitsune rushes out here from Chappers. Jichael's Academy want to sweep this team fight up quick. They're trying to move through. They find Delta. They're having to then retreat back to the point to get the cap. It took a very long time to get that ticked over, though. 31%, as Leaky is able to find his opposite number again there. Yeah, that was a strong fight, but maybe a little bit slow from Jichael's.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is really, I mean, they gained the point, but to what end? It's kind of not as decisive a victory as you'd really hope. But as they come in, you know, it's just so hard to hold any space. They've already kind of lost the point. They're really holding on to the back of the point, but they've got good pressure as well here, DB.
Fateful going in there to get the pulse bomb, but misses it as Ronan falls very early in this fight. Some incredible damage being pumped out from Kiriko there as he's finding Reno in the backline, using the triple perk, but Lampy is the one that gets the pick onto Fateful. Very back and forth, very scrappy, but it is Alpha that perfectly lands a spear onto Lampy. The mines from Reno has stopped. Hang on a second, Mirror Lab. The one-man army finding Delta gets taken down to Ronan, but does enough damage to maybe keep Jichael's Academy in this fight. We're seeing 4v3 as Reno is just pumping the damage into the backline.
Yeah, I mean, they've held on to the point the entire time, DB. They're up to 70%. They're doing really well. For as chaotic as these fights are and how it looks so so budget-approved favored, Jichael's Academy is the one that's getting close to finishing the map.
This map has very much felt like budget approved have been winning the team fight. And yeah, like you said, 85% now on Jichael's Academy. It's not about being flashy, it's about getting the numbers, and that is what Jichael's Academy are doing right now. Reno having to go straight back to the Orisa, has the shield perk, and is able to find Fateful. Difference in Orisa playstyles here is look at that aggressive shield sprinting up as Alpha's able to find Leaky though. Budget approved looking like they're going to flip this one over as Delta pops the OC to just try and rip apart the Orisa, but this is where Orisa's sustainability comes in clutch. Just Alpha is not dying right now. The stick!
What a pulse.
Hang on, the stick onto Ronan, the stick onto Fateful, he gets the recall, but drops it onto Alpha and pops him. Ooh.
Brutal. I know, what a fight. I mean, I think part of that is also it's so hard to adjust quickly to different playstyles, and having runners switch onto off ball just means that there's a whole different level of pressure coming from you at the front, and I think they kind of got overran by that a little bit. They weren't able to change as quickly as they needed to.
And because Reno played Orisa earlier, already having the perks. Now, the Kitsune rush is being popped early from both teams. There's equal footing as Jichael's Academy try and get in here, but they're just having to run into a shield constantly. The Wu Yang ult comes out onto Alpha as he sprints into the backline, but Kiriko's the one who falls. Lampy pops the Wu Yang ult, and budget approved just look like they're holding at this point left, right, and center. The Terror Surge comes out and not able to get a kill, but Vital is able to find a pick in there. Reno, though, catches Alpha in the middle, catches him split from his team, and takes the kill for himself.
I think that might be it. I mean, there's a Lucio swap, and that can mean a lot of things. But I mean, it is looking like it's going to be a real uphill battle for Jichael's Academy to be able to get this one. Mirror Lab
got it into OT, but 2 deaths already for Jichael's Academy, and it's going to look tough. The Terror Surge comes in.
The ball is on though.
Alpha's able to get onto point. How can he stall long enough to keep his team in this? Kiriko falls there to Ronan.
He's so low already.
The pulse bomb comes out from Fateful, isn't able to find anything, and that will be budget approved, taking map 1 of Oasis.
That I think, DB, how I said, map 1 will determine the series. I hope it does, because that was such a close map and just so great from everyone. We saw everybody kind of stretching out, and I mean, look, Fateful on the losing side, but still getting play of the game, and I think well deserved. Fateful put on a real performance. It's just so brutal to be absolutely dropped this quickly, obviously. Just clearing up a fight here, but I mean, look at that. Just
the tracking is just unbelievably impressive from Fateful. The whole tournament, Fateful has been a player that has stood out for me, because look, you're going up against budget approved. A lot of people will say Reno is one of the best tracers on console at the moment, and you're going in and thinking, actually, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and I'm actually going to do it in maybe a debatably better way than Ronan there. Yeah, I did say Reno. I meant Ronan. But yeah, so that is map 1 going to budget approved. So that'll be 1-0 budget approved. This is what we saw last time.
Yep. It's a strong start. I think this start was more convincing for me because Jichael's Academy looked strong immediately, but despite that, Budget Approved managed to overcome that. It wasn't I feel like in the first series we saw Budget Approved kind of just a little bit steamroll Jichael's Academy. It was a little close, but that was incredibly close. Honestly, if you closed my eyes and told me Jichael's Academy won that, I would just think they got the last fight win, or they managed to hold off when Renault switched.
Yeah,
and then they won the map.
To be honest, very impressive from Budget Approved to be able to that quickly change from a ball comp to an Orisa comp and do it in a successful manner.
Yeah,
you know, you typically in a composition that on the surface level seems that different, you would imagine it'd be quite a struggle to jump between them, and yet realistically it actually isn't that different when you look at you know what DPS and what supports you want to play alongside that tank. But every single player on your team has to have that sort of mindset change of, okay, I can actually stand just in the middle, I can shoot through a shield, Overwatch 1 style, I can be protected, and Budget Approved did that so well.
They did. I think that does just show a lot of good scrim time into both comps. It's just so obvious that they were all very comfortable on their roles. And I think that went for both teams. Jichael's Academy, not really switching it up as much. You know, I do have to wonder about Miralep staying on the Reaper for so long. It did seem, I mean, it was so effective map 1. It was a complete and utter bomb of a threat. But then it kind of fades in threateningness, especially when you're kind of going against a Tracer and a Sojourn. You're kind of just always at odds, and that's not to say you can never get a pick, but it's kind of the constant value you get. I think kind of has diminishing returns. So I wonder if it was just comfortability that kept them on, or whether it was a reason. But the reason didn't seem to pan out. But I'd be interested to see, you know, as stuff goes on, how it does change, we're going
to see the differences in bans coming through, aren't we? So now with this being the playoffs, we're no longer playing to a strict map pool. Only the first map is dictated. Nice. It is loser pick map as you go through it. So we are going to Dorado here. A map that I personally love because it's an opportunity for me to play Ana.
As well.
Which maybe we're going to see Ichthy coming out on, one of her more favorable picks. We saw Chappers in then, didn't we?
Yeah.
So will we see some substitutions here? That's the question on my mind.
And I mean, not to hark on to it, but the prediction was quite strongly in favor from you guys that Jichael's Academy would win, and I don't blame you. It was incredibly close, but I think the final vote was 8-4. For this next map, I'll wait a second till I do it, but I'm gonna do a prediction, which means you can put your channel points on the line, and it goes into a pool, and you choose a team, and you choose how much you bet, and then you kind of get equal returns if you win, and obviously you lose it if you lose. So kind of, if you don't have a team, if you don't have any skin in the game, here's an occasion to just pick a team and root for them. It will make it more fun. For you, for us, for everyone. Just pick a player, pick a team. Both teams, I think, are so distinctive in the way they play, in their styles, and their strengths and their weaknesses. So I think it's very easy to get behind these teams, and I'm very excited to see Dorado. We haven't seen it yet, DB, and it's just a banger.
Yeah, I don't know if I've commentated on it actually this tournament.
No,
it's an OG map, right?
Yeah.
What I will say, right, the updates to that map, incredible. In terms of updates added to a map post it being released, it's got to be the best, because there was certain parts of Dorado that I truly hated in Overwatch 1 and the start of Overwatch 2, and you know, I'm thinking of those stairs on second point, being able to being able to go up to that high ground. Any veteran Overwatch players will know exactly what I'm talking about. That high ground used to be the most oppressive in the game. But look, talking of how that high ground is going to work, we are going to see some bans coming out from the teams. We've got Jichael's Academy banning Hazard and Budget Approved banning Kiriko.
Yeah, I think that this makes sense. Hazard is, I don't know, he's been nerfed, right? So he's not as good. But I think in maps like this, he's such a threat, and Reno is really good. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see a ball ban. But you can only ban a hero once a series, so it might just be there holding on to that one. Kiriko doesn't surprise me. An incredibly frustrating character on this map. Just feels like there's a million walls to climb, a million places to hide, and just gets such insane value. So I'm not really surprised by either of those.
Yeah, now, with Kiriko being banned, and with us allowing substitutions after the bans, Kiriko is also going to be substituted out. So, Dew is going to come in for Jichael's Academy. So, to be honest, I was surprised by that support line of Kiriko and Chappers for Jichael's Academy in that first map. Beforehand, I said I was expecting to see Ichthy and Dew from the start. But yes, Dew coming in. We've seen Dew on Brigitte. We've seen a few different characters from her. So, I'm not surprised by that substitution. At all. I've got to say.
No, and I think that's part of what makes rosters. As much as we talked about keeping a consistent roster, you also want a little bit of depth because there are a lot of heroes in Overwatch now. DB, back in the day, it was possible for you to know all of them. Now, I think that's kind of beyond the scope of anyone.
Yeah, well,
it's just so hard to specialize. Yeah, something like that. It's insane the amount, and they're very different as well. I think the difference has kind of increased. It's so you'll get people that are like specialists on Kiriko alone now, and that's so interesting. So as we go into this map, it'll be interesting to see how the comps change, how the maps change, but also how the players change. Are they adapting mentally? Is Jichael's Academy on the back foot, or are they ready to win? I think they are, DB. I think they've got it in them. As we see Budget Approved coming out on a very different comp, but we see Reno kind of on something that I'm not too surprised to see him on.
On the rod?
Yeah, I mean, that bit kind of surprises me. I also think, I am a personal believer that Zarya is unbelievably overpowered, though. And I think he knows that Alpha is probably going to go D.Va here. And I think it's kind of a counter swap before your enemy has picked. Maybe Alpha doesn't. But I think that it kind of forces a mirror a lot of the time, especially with the hazard ban. So I think maybe that's what he's going for. Maybe I'm wrong and it turns out to be horrible. But we will see.
Yeah, look, Budget Approved are going to be pretty standard here, holding the high ground right at the back, but we've got a pause there. Budget Approved asking for a pause, so we'll give them a little second. As
Reno saw that they were on D.Va and said, "Actually, I'm going to go back to spawn room and pick D.Va." No, yeah, I mean these things happen. Again, probably an internet problem. Either that, there's loads of things that can happen. I am with you. Team comps were surprising. I feel like Dorado doesn't really have a set a meta. When you're playing Oasis, everybody scrims it all the time. Who really plays Dorado? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of one of those less popular picks, I think. So I think part of that might be, obviously, Jichael's Academy picked it, so they seem to have a kind of a more solid strategy. Their comp, they locked it in real quick. They seem pretty locked on it. Budget Proof maybe don't. Maybe they're just kind of defaulting to something they don't. I quite like Zarya. I basically am an advocate for Zarya in almost every situation, if I'm going to be honest. I think the damage, the value she gets is just crazy. I just don't see a world in which she ever is not valuable. But if there is one time, it is on a map with such high verticality as Dorado. So I think the only way we'll find out, DB, is to see as we head back into the game. Obviously, Reno's going to have to start back from spawn because of the tech issue, which does mean the Jichael's Academy are basically going to get a free fight, which is a bit disappointing, but there's nothing to be done.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's in the rules of the game. We're not here to hand out favors. We're here to watch some good Overwatch. And Budget Approved they're able to get back to the point here in the courtyard, which in my opinion is actually a better place for them to take this fight. This is exactly where you want to be fighting as Zarya. We're seeing the kiting around the car. You're gonna be able to build up a lot of charge as soon as the teams meet, and it's meaning that Alpha can't walk in at all. Vayful taking enough damage there as he goes into the backline that he has to back out quickly, and Reno just trying to get his charge up enough to go charging in there. As Mirlab goes incredibly though as Ronan poaches the kill. I'm struggling to speak.
Yeah.
Reno's struggling to get his charge up here, though.
Yeah. I think not to blame Reno, particularly that the bubble usage I've seen has not been particularly compelling. I mean, like, that is not, you know, a bubble that is particularly necessary, especially when your character is currently invulnerable. But I think that kind of stuff just means that if you're not playing Zarya, like, there we go, that's a good bubble. Get some charge, you force them to shoot you. The downside is that now with the window out, drops real low, and they're going to get a good bit of cart percentage off this window.
They're trying to hide, Budget Approved trying to hide from the window, and they're having to stand in the corner. But Reno gets the Ruyang ult and sprints in there. And the Alpha is able to take him down, but it will not be enough as Budget Approved have just absolutely ripped up. I mean, look, that a bit staggering here.
Oh,
Reno puts himself in a dangerous situation.
Good reactions.
It's gonna be a little bit of an issue here for Reno having to come back from spawn.
Yeah, no charge is going to be brutal, taking so long because you're such a slow character. But I mean, Ronan just makes so much space, DB. It's so hard to like visualize that properly, but he just kind of, I mean, and Delta taking down Fateful, that's not something you see happening often. And then the pressure on the supports, it's basically a free fight win for nothing. You know, you're down an advantage. I mean, Ronan's going to drop the pulse bomb and not going to hit. But I mean, it's so big, and you see there, Alpha trying not to give any charge if they can to Reno, because they know he's just died, they know he's come back, and they know he's not going to be any use if they don't give him any charge. That being said, just gave him...
I'm loving this aggressive play of just chucking a bubble on the front line. Yeah. And the grab gets thrown in, not able to get the DM up in time from Alpha.
Wow.
Ooh! The rally plus the death blossom there. As look at this stall now, Alpha sprinting for the spawn door.
Yeah, I mean, they did use 3 ults on it, so there is kind of... that is a brutal stagger, they got it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of ults, but it was a massive grab from Reno. I do wonder if that was a bit of a miscommunication, whether Leaky and Delta meant to both pop their ults, because it does feel like... Left. Yeah, it does feel like you've kind of left yourself a little without any options. I mean, Bomb isn't so useful, and Pulse Bomb is also a little not always useful, but they're better than nothing, DB. They're better than nothing.
I'm gonna say, and don't count Vateful out, but as I say his name, he falls to Ronan, as Ronan just hits straight headshots. Finds Leaky, and the bomb comes out from Alpha just to get the remake in. Wasn't looking for any picks there. The window not enough to keep Choppers in that fight. Delta is just being a backline merchant here. Finds both supports, looking to come back to the front line. Miralep able to take down Lampy, but Budget Approved looks to be on. This is Delta gets more and more kills. Ronan takes down Miralep, and that will be a first point hold for Budget Approved.
Yeah, I mean... Wow, that was really, really good. Also, just in case any viewers are confused, I'm pretty sure the names of the teams are the wrong way around. But don't let that confuse you. Reno's team is Budget Approved. There we go. So we speak it into existence, DB. But
what is that? Our stream frozen?
Is that us or is it? I don't know if that was us or...
I'm going to assume that was us because the... What's going on here?
Anyway, going into this point, I feel like the pressure's a little bit off Budget Approved. I think that there is kind of a relaxation you get when you kind of manage to full hold. And I don't know. It can lead to dangerous things is all I'm going to say, DB. You can very easily kind of go, we got it onto first point. We have, like, ages. So let's just kind of, we'll mess around for a few fights. And then before you know it, you got a minute 30 left thinking, uh-oh, our ult economy is in the bin. So they've got to kind of stay locked in. We are seeing Alpha now mirror Reno. I think that's a wise decision. I think that staying on the Diva for so long was maybe a little bit of a mistake because you're not playing for the Diva bomb, and also you'd already taken the high ground. So what gain was there really? So it'll be interesting to see it on a more like even playing field. Obviously, a bit of a difference as well in the fact Jichael's Academy continue to stick with the Cassidy and with the Baptiste. But you know, I don't think those are particularly worse. They're just slightly different playstyles.
I mean, look, if you had asked me what the comps we were expecting to see here, I would not have said matching Zarya's going into first point. But look, we're already under the choke. Jichael's Academy needs to make something happen here as Delta is just able to stand on the high ground for free. Ronan takes down Bayful early. The contestants had to come out already as, I mean, the backline of Jichael's Academy looked to be falling very early, but Alpha's the one who dies first as Lampy and Delta find the damage, and that might be an absolute speed run of Dorado as Budget Approved have taken that and have gone 2-0 up in this series.
That that is pretty crazy. I don't know what to say, DB. There's nothing really much to say. There's not a lot to analyze. They kind of just overran the other team. They kind of just, I don't know, they were just a little bit stronger. They kind of played it tighter. They hit their shots a little more, and they won. There's not a lot more to it, if I'm being honest. Not a lot really happened. They kind of let the cart come a little too far, maybe. But then they're in there, they touch, it's all chaotic. I mean, it's hard to see as well from kind of a single person's POV. But then it was over. I think it's kind of a little bit over when you let yourself get full hold. Mentally, you're a little shattered. You swap, you're not really settled on a comp. You can come back from it, but if you don't start swinging, which I think is quite hard to do on Dorado, because you're not standing up high to defend that, then that's the kind of thing that happens.
I think, in my opinion, picking a Zarya on defense Dorado is a mistake every single time, right? I know Reno made it work, and they were able to full hold. I think part of that is Reno being good. I think part of that is the rest of the team doing a lot of work. And also, I think that disconnect where Reno was coming into the fight late actually led to the fights being exactly where Budget Approved wanted them. Because what we saw on the flip side, right, when we're looking at that speed run of an attack from Budget Approved, Jichael's Academy played the Zarya, so they're looking to brawl, but they stood on the high ground. They let Budget Approved walk in first, and then they're the team rotating onto point. So the flip side, Budget Approved were already in the courtyard. Jichael's had to come into their space. The flip of that was that, again, Jichael's had to come into their space, but they're on the defense. They should be the team set up, and they weren't able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, what a first two maps. I feel like how close map one was, I would never have predicted that Jichael's Academy's choice of map goes like that. I wonder how they're feeling. They're one map away from dropping down to the losers bracket. You kind of, maybe you start feeling a bit nervous. I would be. I'd start to kind of overthink things. You know, maybe we need some subs. Maybe we need to change everything up. But I think often that is the wrong answer. You've got to stick to your principles. You've got to stick to the gameplay you know. So it'll be interesting. We have a little bit of time before our next map, so maybe they'll have a bit of time to think about it, and maybe, hopefully, they'll also have a little bit of time to be prepared when we ask them for a hero ban and not be completely shocked as if it's the first time they've heard of it. But we've got a break now, and we'll join you straight back after, hopefully for a couple more maps, but potentially only for one more map. See you in a bit.
Yeah, cheers.
Well, DB, I think that break was well needed after two exciting maps. And I tell you what, I am ready for a third. I am hungry and I am incredibly excited. Obviously, there's a lot that could change. And I think one of the things that makes me most excited is one of my favorite game modes, Flashpoint. We have Suravasa. Controversial map. I am aware that not everyone likes it as I do, but I think it makes such good Overwatch.
It's definitely the best Flashpoint map, mate.
It's so fun.
I'll say it. Yeah.
I love watching it. I love commentating it. Playing it, I'm kind of impartial, if I'm being honest, but I really love it. And the other thing we've got to talk about, DB, and I think I'll leave this to you, is the bans.
Yeah, so we're seeing Sojourn banned by budget approved. Clearly, even though I've been playing it a lot, Delta's been picking the Sojourn a lot, they've gone, okay, we don't want to play into it at all. We don't want to have to deal with it on Suravasa. And Wu Yang being played by Jichael's Academy. So I do think Lampy has done very well on the Wu Yang from budget approved.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think Jichael's Academy has done well with it as well. So I'm surprised. I
think Jichael's has maybe been relying on it maybe a little less. I think they've been a bit more free on it. Maybe they aren't as comfortable. Is my I don't know anything about these teams. Would be my little prediction. I will say the Sojourn from Dystopia, budget approved, a little bit more surprised by.
But look, both of these teams like to play brawl. They both like to get up close and personal, and Sojourn is more about that distance playing. So we'll see how these teams sort of clash here with some very fast team compositions as we moving into Suravasa. For me, with the team that I play with, this has always been a map that we've gone through. We felt quite comfortable on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think the other thing with Flashpoint is there aren't many maps to scrim. It's going to come up in a lot of games, but you also know that there's barely any maps to scrim. So you're going to play a lot of it.
Especially with Atlas being dead at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Which just means that you're more ready to scrim it. So I think both of these teams will have played a good amount of this, which will probably be really interesting. Obviously, I've just put the prediction up. There's a 2-minute delay, so we won't be able to see, but make sure you guys do vote. It probably will be over by this point, actually, because that's how 2 minutes works. But I'm interested to see who everyone, do we still have Jichael's Academy believers in the chat? I think we do. I reckon that which people don't.
You say that.
believe.
I've not seen the copy pasta in a while. So look, guys,
maybe
if you
they're
want to
all
show your
gone.
support, chuck it in chat. But now we're opening up here on Suravasa. The Zarya is coming out again. I love watching Zarya gameplay.
Yeah,
I hate
so
playing
good.
into Zarya if I'm anyone other than the tank. But yeah, we're seeing different methodologies here as budget approved look to play up the stairs and along the long angle, whereas Jichael's Academy went to play from the outside and have now realized, okay, we've got to go aggro, we've got to get to point. Both Reapers teleporting aggressively, both Reapers getting a bubble, but it's Alpha that's taking a lot of damage as Ronan gets poked out there and has to retreat back to his team. He's looking to play this outside angle while his team take the ball on point. The Reapers go head to head, but the bubbles save them both.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Whoa. A bubble and a pick. Chapper's dropping just immediately because of Delta's insane damage. And I mean, that, I think, will be the opening pick that's needed. Leaky going to take down Alpha, and I mean, that's the end of that. And I mean, that was a really interesting first fight. It took ages, and if you look at the stats, everyone's really close. The teams are slightly different. We didn't comment on this. The Lucio versus the Brig. It's been a battle as old as time, DB. But I'm
surprised the Brig has won it as well. I mean, the Zarya comp likes to play off speed, and if you're not having that speed boost, you're typically a sitting duck. But I mean, it is clearly working here.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one pick. That's all it takes, and it was a really good pick. They're kind of stuck now. The doorway's really hard to get through. Delta gonna take out Mirror Lab, and I think that is probably gonna be the point.
A little
already.
bit of a misplay from Jichael's Academy there as Miralep went aggressive, TP'd in, but then went straight out of his Zarya's LOS and wasn't able to get bubbled. And then when he comes wraithing out, isn't able to get the bubble again. The OT has been ticked, but it's going to tick down very quickly. As Jichael's Academy, do they even get to the touch? They don't. No. They're able to get the pick onto Ronan as Kiriko has come back in for this map. But, I mean, look, come on, Kiriko, pick the right character. I hate... Anyway, a lot of ults online for budget approved, but very close to a lot of ults for Jichael's Academy.
Yeah.
As the teams looked like they were all running to one side of the map. This is the issue with commentating Flashpoint. We have no idea where it is. Delta, I've told you before about using your emotes. That's another point you're going to have to buy me in Stockholm, mate. Their Faithful has taken down Ronan before the fight's even started, and that gives Jichael's Academy a very strong leg up here. But the Graviton Surge looking ready to rip by Renault. He hasn't got much charge, so maybe he's going to wait a little bit. And as I say that, both... Okay, a lot of bolts coming out, but the gravitation does eventually come out from Renault. There was a Kitsune rush in there. This fight is very scrappy so far. Kills left, right, and center. Jichael's going to be looking the stronger team, but Renault is on a warpath right now, almost full charge. But Miralep goes sprinting in. Renault ends up actually taking his own life with the alternate fire.
Rest in peace. Yeah, that was so weird. The budget approved were the ones that were popping all the ult. Obviously, Chapper's dropped the early Kiriko rush, but apart from that, they dropped everything else, basically. They dropped and got no picks. Nothing died. I think it's just poorly timed. It shows that ult advantage only works if you get kills with the ult, as proven by Alpha, getting two in the grab and three in the ensuing.
Look, if you're going to do a grab, do it like that. Use it as an aggressive play. Start the fight with it, because it is the sort of ult that kills a fight, right? That wasn't a team fight. That was Jichael's Academy killing the entirety of budget approved. Now, Ronan looking to get a stick there. Miralep has the Wraith form available, so he doesn't die to the stick, but strong to get that.
Yeah, it shows that I can hit those sticks even if I'm not going to get a kill. They're going to bubble, and I mean, that play was kind of obvious, but I mean, it doesn't matter if it's obvious if you can't do anything to stop it. Delta going to pick up Vateful, but apart from that, it's going to be a pretty clean point too, DB.
Jichael's Academy really showing how to use ults effectively here. I mean, look, that play was something out of season, 2 of Overwatch 1? But there's a reason it's been around for so long. You just stick your Death Blossom into their backline, you bubble it, you nano it in some other comps, but it just makes it unkillable, and that's the teamfight won instantly. We saw it with the Gravitation from Alpha. We've seen it there from Miralep. Can we see budget approved use this Kitsune rush effectively? They open the fight with it. They go straight for point, but the beat comes out from Kiriko and the rush from Chappers. And Renault is the one that gets the kill, though, through that. Miralep goes into the backline and is able to find Delta as Miralep takes down another one. Alpha finds his opposite number, but it's Chappers that gets the... never mind. Alpha gets the final kill onto Lampy. I was just about to talk through how budget approved looked in a stronger position and then 5 kills.
I mean, Kiriko got a bit excited and kind of ran into the backlines and just got instantly evaporated. But the damage and the beat just completely negated. Having that rush of speed is obviously proven to be really good, because Lampy has swapped onto the Lucio as well, saying, "Hey, we can't beat the speed." Yeah.
The rally is not a good enough answer as well to a beat, is it? With that level of sustainability from the beat, it just changes the team fight completely. Now, teams matching here as they meet on point. 50% on the board for Jichael's Academy, looking very strong for them. And the Graviton Surge comes out, it finds 3, looking to stuck a 4th person in there, but all 3 are going to die there. I think as Lampy and Leaky are already dead. Renault finds Alpha finds Renault there. Delta able to get a kill, but not enough to keep him in this fight. And I don't know if my headset is breaking or that is stream.
No, that's stream. I always worry because I'm just worried that my internet's going to drop anytime and it would just be the worst thing ever. But yeah, I mean, a really convincing 2-point win from Jichael's Academy there. Alpha is just showing that getting big grabs just wins fights. And on Flashpoint, a fight can be a map. Not map, a point. And eventually the map, I suppose. Reno does have it, so kind of this is his second grab. He has to prove that he can get big ults as well, because they need it. They need to kind of switch the momentum back onto their side here, dude.
Yeah, look, and like you said, Flashpoint is such a momentum-based game. As Miralab goes into the backline, the bubble is a bit slow as he went out of his Zarya's LOS again, takes a lot of damage and isn't able to get the kill, but it's Viteful that gets the kill onto Ronan. The headshots to melee combo that we see oh so often from tracers of this caliber. Reno, again, I'm assuming that was an auto fire onto someone as Jichael's Academy get this. They're looking to sweep up the map here. If they can win this point, it will be a 3-1, and they'll get a foothold into this series.
Yeah, I mean, they look so strong here. Alpha, Reno's looked incredibly strong. But this all series, sorry, I forgot to finish my sentence. But Alpha here is kind of looking the alpha of the two of them. He's dominating, and I mean, Vateful as well, really stepping up and just making so much damage. I mean, just the pressure from the Reaper in this comp is just so immense.
The beat there, having to come out to keep Delta alive as he was in a very precarious situation, but he's able to find Vateful and Chappers. You weren't stuck. Whoa. Walk away, my friend, as Reno takes down his opposite number as well. Budget approved, looking to get back onto this point. The Wraith from Miralab being the only thing keeping the point ticking up as Ronan gets another pick there. I mean, look, decent stick from Ronan to get it near Chappers, but you've got to start walking away if you're not stuck.
I think it's easy as a Kiriko to think, I'll just TP away. You look up, no one's close, and boom, you're dead. But you've just got to walk at the same time. It's one of those things, and it might seem like a small mechanic to practice, but obviously it leads to fight wins and losses. The Krav coming out from Reno, not proving anything to me right now. It was the Alphas that missed. I don't know. Both of them weren't great though, because they both got no kills. Delta is going to manage to pick up someone. It's looking checkers over there. Everyone's swapping back and forth. I don't know who's winning this fight, DB.
Reno takes down Miralab. The bubble onto Ronan is going to give him a hand in the fight for 1v1, and he's able to find him. But that was very scrappy from both teams. Budget proved able to edge out as they're now at 70%. And with how quick Flashpoint ticks up, this will be the last fight. Realistically, ult-wise, again, not too much from either side. Miralab's Death Blossom, I think, is going to be a big one, but it is the Kitsune rush that opens it. And Ronan finds Alpha with the Pulse Bomb. That is not something you typically see a tank dying to the Pulse Bomb there. As Budget approved, they're going to get the kills here and just sweep up as they tie this map 2-2. Vateful taking Ronan down, though. That's got to do a little bit of work to the mental.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that was really good, though, to get the Pulse onto Alpha. It shows that they're watching, they're counting the bubbles, because you're not sticking someone who's got a bubble. It's just completely useless. Often it can be really hard to play Tracer into Zarya's, because it feels like you can never stick anybody, especially when you're going to get a Tracer and a Reaper and a Kiriko. It feels like there's no stick target, so to get a kill with a stick is incredible. And I mean, just the pressure coming out. Delta is going to drop low. Vateful is just a complete assassin, DB. I see people and then they just disappear immediately.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, I've barely seen Vateful anywhere at all. Yeah. He just picks up the scraps so quickly. Alpha there finding Ronan. Miralab walking onto point with the help of the rest of his team as they... Look, this is what we see from Brawl and Rush comps, is you just absolutely roll over the team. As soon as you get that little engage, it's a little bit goats, right? As soon as you get that first pick, you just get to steamroll the fight. Yeah.
I mean, like, Reno has the grav. I'm forgetting all the words.
Get anyone in it this time.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe in him. I believe in him. But look, the double shot from Delta, he's gone for the pick, the perk for Reaper there, and Reno, he's got to get a bit of charge up here. 45 charge as he walks in, looking at Alpha, but it is Reaper of Delta. Jumps in with his Death Blossom and isn't getting the bubble that he needs to keep himself alive. Vateful is still getting a pick in this fight, but Delta getting 2 kills off the bat, and then Ronan picking up his opposite number. Budget approved to swap this map around very quickly.
Jichael's Academy used 2 ults, and they were the ones that lost. And on the other end, Budget approved used none. That's really not good, to put it in layman's terms. Like, they have so many resources now. Obviously, ults don't mean you have won a fight, but it can mean that, like, you can drag this fight out, and that's an early Kiriko rush. That's, I mean, it's kind of, that's really, Kiriko managed to pick up Lampy, but apart from that, it's looking pretty curtains for Jichael Academy.
You say that, they do get 2 kills, and Faithful and Kiriko are on a tear up here. They're trying to find Reno. That's going to be a hard pick to get on the full charge Zarya. And they still have to deal with Ronan as well on point. And look, the duo there of Ronan and Reno just keep that alive.
No offense,
it
Reno.
For a second, looked like it wasn't going to go well.
Yeah, who are you looking at? Bro's looking at the skybox for half the fight. You're a full charge Zarya, mate. Just look at the people that are right next to you. Yeah, but I mean,
that was a very good Graviton. So they're 93% on the point here. Can
this is gonna be a grab though.
3-0. Miralep gets the bubble as he finds Lampy, but
it's a nobody.
Bolt's going left, right, and center. The beat comes out from Kiriko to try and keep Jichael's Academy in this, but I think that is it. That is all she wrote. Budget approved. A booklet ticket to the grand finals, and Jichael's Academy they came into this as being the winners of the last matchup, and they've come out of this going to the lower bracket final. Wow.
DB, I don't know what to say. I feel like Gravs were the story of this tournament. Not this tournament, this map. And that was nasty. And the Grav just missed. It's heartbreaking. It was the thing that could have changed it all, and it just hit no one. It's so hard to hit a good grav sometimes. Let's kind of not take away from our comments about them. Gravs aren't what they used to be. In 6v6, hitting a grav was kind of, you just looked in a general direction, you clicked Y or Q or triangle, depending on what you're playing on. You got 3 people in it. But now with everybody's got cleanses and like abilities left, right, and center, it is really hard. But in these kind of games, you've got to hit them. And I will say,
this caliber of gameplay. But although the person who missed the most in that, I think, was Reno and Budget. About on top. But, so we can't dunk on him too much.
It might not be though the amount that you miss. It's the important one. Alpha missing that last one in that last fight. It's kind of all they really had in terms of like engagement. And I think part of that was a little tough because they had to rush onto the point. They had no time. So you kind of don't get the time to set up as you would quite like. But losing in that way is so brutal for Jichael's Academy. They aren't out of the tournament. Let's be positive on that front. But
and that does lead me to a little bit of shameless self promo. We will be back live tomorrow evening with EMC Chimera versus Bliss Marauders for the lower bracket game to determine who Jichael's Academy will have to play to get into the grand final. So they're not out, but budget approved. They're in the grand finals now. They are. Is that a surprise? I can't say it is. They absolutely topped the standings from the regular season, so they've booked their flights already. It's an online tournament, but they've got their tickets. They're going to the grand finals, which will be
maybe
next
one day
week. That would be the dream. Wow, I mean, to be honest, right, I like a Zarya comp. I love a Zarya comp in Surabasa especially. I'm surprised that Alpha. Look, I know Zarya is good into Orisa, but if you're comfortable on Orisa, and if you're that good on Orisa, we've seen Alpha do it so much.
Definitely.
Is it worth just trying to stick it out?
I feel like you have a bit of momentum though, and it just kind of deletes any of those thoughts from your mind while you're playing the game. You start on Zarya, and you just you feel it. You keep going, and I don't know. It's so hard to say though, DB, because both teams. It's so brutal. I feel like me and you always love to cast games which are 3-0s, but they're not. They're like so close. Map 1, I mean map 2, I'll be honest, bit of a sweep.
Budget map 2 was not a good showing.
1 and 3 could have gone either way so easily. We could be looking at a 2-1 right here.
Going to the 5th point there. It was the same on Oasis though. It easily in that last fight could have gone either way, and the map could have ended either way. With again, maybe some discipline that Budget Approved did well and Jichael's Academy failed a little bit at.
I think
especially on the alt front, I would say.
I will say massive props to both teams, because I think the performances we're seeing are definitely kind of a tier above even the performances we've seen from them earlier. We've watched a lot of Budget Approved games, DB.
Yes.
and they're looking better than they've ever looked before. I think they are looking crispy. They're playing really well off each other. There's kind of this just sheen to the gameplay. But despite that, Jichael's Academy is finding chinks in the armor and giving them little prods. And I mean, it looked, Dystopia was bleeding. Budget approved, there were cuts, but it just wasn't enough to bring them down today. But DB, it's not over, like you said. I'm really hoping that Jichael's Academy, no bias again, but I really hope that, I think they deserve to make it, and I think it would be very poetic for these teams to face for the third time to see who really is the winners. They've both got one game each currently. Yeah, they're 1-1. I think it would be great to see a grand final with both teams, and that is a way off. That's next Friday, and we have a game tomorrow. But I'm excited for it all, DB.
Yeah. Now, what I am excited for is getting the opinions of Budget Approved off the back of that map win and that series win, see how they're feeling. So we're going to have a little break now, only a few minutes, as we set up an interview with a player from Budget Approved. Ooh. Don't want to spoil who's going to be joining us just yet, but stick around. We will not be on break for too long as we get that set up. So, yeah, we will be back in just a moment. Cheers.
All right.
Okay, thank you for waiting just that short break. We are here joined with Reno from Budget Approved. How's it going, buddy?
Yo, what up, guys?
Mate, talk me through how it feels to have won that map and know that you've got your ticket booked to the grand finals.
I think me and the guys were pretty satisfied, I guess, because we played Jay not long ago, and I don't know, we knew we could take them. We're pretty confident in ourselves, and beating them now is just like that reassurance. So we're pretty happy.
Yeah, talk me through second map, the team comps. We had a lot of chatter about it. What was the mentality? I mean, it worked. You guys had probably the strongest map I've seen in a long time. But what was why?
Oh, so we were just shooting ideas out. Well, me personally, I'm a big hater on D.Va. I refuse to play that character, right? Amen. So, and we know they like the D.Va comps. So we just played into that. We knew they wanted to play D.Va. The hazard ban wasn't relevant. It was just so that we couldn't ban the tank, which was going to be D.Va. So we just knew what we would do. The Zarya comp's really strong. We just bunk it up on the point. Brig is not really conventional, but we ran it because it's good into D.Va and good for what we wanted to do. We were just going to sit on point the whole time. And
I'm sorry. I think Jay actually said it as you picked the Zarya. This is counter swapping before they've even walked out of spawn.
Yeah. I could smell it. I actually think the thing that you guys did really well this whole series is lots of little changes. I mean, in the last map, you also swapped off the Brig onto the Lucio, and I think. Do you think? I mean, maybe you disagree, but do you think those are the kind of changes that kind of knock you up a little echelon above your competition, or is it something else that really gives you the edge?
Okay, being able to switch up your comp like that is really nice because, well, I don't know, we did it earlier on Oasis as well. Like, we were planning on playing Ball for some points and Orisa for some, and it's just being able to, not just for me playing tank, but everyone like that playstyle shift from playing with a Ball to having a frontline tank. It's good that everyone can adapt. Like, that's one of our strengths, I'd say.
Yeah, and is that mostly scrim time or is that just talent?
Everyone listens. That's the thing. Because usually I am shot calling things. For example, actually, the Orisa switch wasn't my suggestion or someone else's suggestion. I think it was one of my supports. But it's just being able to trust each other's callouts and just follow through with things.
Yeah, thanks so much, mate. That's a really, really nice insight into your team. And congrats again. Do you have anything you want to shout out?
Oh, yeah. Because honestly, we haven't given the Zarya comp much. This was honestly one of our first times running it. We've ran it for like a map or two, but this was like one of the first times we fully went through with it. We did some VOD review on the known Reaper player. I don't know if you guys have heard Ton Makita, but we've picked up a lot from his gameplay, and Doa showed it today. He did really good on the Reaper.
Well, I'm very glad to hear, mate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hopefully
we see you again in the grand finals, and hopefully you're on the winner's stage there as well.
You will be seeing us, yeah. Don't worry.
Good to hear.
Lovely. Cheers for your time. Now, right, that was Reno from Budget Approved. Like I said, they booked their way into the grand finals now. I mean, Jay, you said it earlier. It was a game that was 3-0. It didn't feel massively like a 3-0, other than that second point, the second map, which felt very dominant. As I said earlier, we've got a game tomorrow. That will be the losers bracket. So the people who lost the first round of playoffs. So it will be EMC Chimera against Bliss Marauders. That will be live on the Twitch as well. It will be 8 p.m. kickoff, to my knowledge. But if there are any changes, it will be communicated through the Discord. But 8 p.m.
Who's casting that, DB? Who's casting that?
Is that by any chance?
I think it's me and you.
I think it's me and you.
Yeah, gosh, the dynamic duo is back again. So yeah, it's me and DB casting. There might be a bit of sprinkling that, a bit of change in that next week. Not for every game. It might not be me and DB. You might see some other pairings. But I'm excited, DB, because I think all these teams have proven that they're good, even if we're in losers bracket. And I think that kind of adds a tenacity to your want to play. So I think there will be a lot, and I'm so excited for next week as well. Losers finals into grand finals. There's nothing better.
Yeah, I mean, look, tomorrow is the first knockout game that is the first playoff game where the loser will not carry on in the tournament.
Yeah.
And then next week it'll be all knockouts. It will be, like you said, the losers final, where we'll see Jichael's Academy take on the winner of tomorrow, and the winner of that game will then get to play against Budget Approved. So guys, definitely make sure you catch those games. I may not be casting all of them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But we'll definitely have some stellar staff on for them. Thank you so much for your time this evening. It's been a decently long stream, I think. But
90 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Only thing to do is shout out our production staff. Thank you guys for today. Obviously, it's gone a lot better than our last stream, and we hope you guys all enjoyed it as well as the. Like DB said, we'll be back tomorrow, so make sure that you hit the follow button on Twitch. If you have a Twitch Prime, you can always drop that. We don't have any bonuses yet, but I'm sure we've got something in the pipeline for those. Make sure you join the Discord as well. It's all below us. You can see it all below, and watch the YouTube. There's stuff coming on that as well. But mostly join the Discord, because that's where you find out when stuff happens. If not, we will see you tomorrow, where you'll have another chance to do all. Thank you so much for joining us. Both we have had a very lovely evening, and we have to. Ta-ra.
Cheers.